In this part of the series, we're going to talk about electrical. Again, I'm in a home under construction. It's not fully installed, but a majority of the components are here before cover up. So we're going to start here at the main breaker panel. So the electrical service comes in from the service provider from the back of the house, and it has an underground that comes up and into the service panel. It's located in the garage, but while this is uncovered, you can see portions that you never really get to see of the electrical system. So number one, there's a ground rod. So the grounding rod here, that piece of rebar goes into the slab for a certain amount of feet. So it goes down and it is bent, and it's run in the beam of the slab. And then there is a grounding rod in, it's acorn clamp style attached, and that takes it to the grounding of the panel. And then there is an additional grounding rod on the outside of the home that connects the panel and goes in, and that grounding rod is nailed into the ground. Again, another acorn style clamp is connecting it. This is where all the breakers and everything will be, and from this main hub, the electricity is then disseminated throughout the house. And you can see how they're bringing wire into the panel, in and out from both sides, and you'll notice that they have sent them through each individual grommet. The code requires them to separate it. Not every municipality requires it. This city does its own independent inspections, so they're really adamant about making sure they're stapled appropriately, making sure they're safely placed in the studs far enough back, and if they're not, then they're going to put nailer plates. Matter of fact, you can see some nailer plate examples here where they're making sure no one's going to be able to put a nail or a screw through these wires, okay? Depending on the gauge of the wire, they're required because of their proximity to the edge. I think best practice, just put a nailer garter on the whole thing, and I'm pretty sure the city's going to make them do it. You also can see how they're being run separate pipe, and then again, separate holes, and they're going, and they're being spread throughout the home. Another component of the electrical system here are for future uses. So this orange tube's actually installed by the electrician, along with other low voltage style wiring, like for a garage door opener. So you can see these blue boxes. One's an electrical for the garage door opener to plug into. The other one is for the beams that go across the garage door. So you'll see one here in a box, and you'll see this one that is firmly not in a box, but coming straight through here. So this one will be connected to the electric beam that goes from one side to the other. It's a safety feature, so a kid or, the door won't crush something. Other components of electrical include plugs, switches, so you can see that they're all being installed at certain heights. You'll see where they've marked. So this is a switch for the above light. This here is for the garage door switches. You'll have a button here to open and close your doors. There'll be two, because there's two separate doors. Other components in here, again, electrical plugs. So in a garage, it's considered a wet area because it's outside. All these plugs will be GFCI protected. Code requires AFCI breakers in the panel along with the GFCI plug. So bathrooms, garages, front porch, exterior plugs, soffit plugs for Christmas lights will all be GFCI protected. Again, you'll have your ceiling light mounts, again, garage doors. And as you move into the home, you'll start seeing other structured wiring components as well as electrical. So you're still doing switches and plugs, but you'll also have things like what I can see here is going to be under cabinet lighting and over cabinet lighting. You can see where there are certain ones for like a fridge. You can see where you'll have plugs in your backsplash. You also have the electrical run to the island, so you can see they ran it through a conduit, a pipe right here in the slab, and that they left themselves plenty of slack so that they can run it where they need. There'll probably be a plug on either end of the island, and you're also going to have a dishwasher and a disposal here in the island. Some of the other electrical things you'll see in here are going to be like this 220 box. You see this heavy gauge wire. This is for likely the double oven. Okay, this one is a gas cooktop, so you're going to have electrical over there as well, but you can see that they ran that 220 here for the double oven. But some builders, and this one is one of them, it looks like they did not. Some will run the 220 just in case somebody wants to go to a an electrical cooktop in the future, because trying to run that later, you're going outside the house. You can't really get behind cabinets in the walls. Some other things that are installed by the electrician are the other structured wiring things. This builder does not run wire for alarms. Most alarm companies have gone wireless for their entry point detectors, but they do run, again, pull tubes for future use. So like TV components, if you want to put a TV over your fireplace, that conduit runs up and over, and you'll be able to run wiring from the back of the TV. You can keep component boxes. If you still use DVDs, you got that. You can run a cable box, a satellite box. It's also useful if people are using internet TV. They can have their component box here, or some people are using PCs, laptops to fuel their watching needs at home. It's all there. You got your electrical up top as well. Some of them will be running speaker wire. Here in this house, I have not seen a speaker wire, but they will run that low voltage wiring for speakers. Again, speakers are going wireless, but some people still want hard wire for them. Other components that the electrician will run that are not just plugs and switches, they're going to install light fixtures. So we do have can lighting that's been installed already here in the entryway. There are several in the family room ceiling. You're going to see it in a lot of the bathroom areas. A majority of the home's going to be can lights in new construction now. But here in this one, you'll have some hung fixtures like over the island. You'll have a few ceiling fans. Here's a good one that some people really don't realize. When you want to put up a ceiling fan, or when you want to hang a light fixture, you need to make sure that it can hold it. So right here, you'll see a light fixture in the ceiling. It's just a small round box. That is not going to hold a heavy light fixture. That's going to hold a 2 to 7, 10-pound ceiling mount fixture. But if you want to hold a ceiling fan that can be upwards of 20 to 30 pounds, you're going to need a box like this. And you'll notice it's like a tension box. So it's a metal box. It's not plastic. It stretches between the framing members, and that box can be slid along that metal line there, so you can adjust it to fit your need, and that's rated to hold ceiling fans or heavier fixtures. Now, if you have much heavier fixtures, like a chandelier, a big thing for an entryway, a dining room, an older version, heavy glass, you really want to make sure you find out what they're using or what they did use to see if it'll accommodate it or not. Here you can see where the electrical supply service is being provided. You can see the trench that's been dug, and you can see it goes down. It probably needs to be at least 18 inches down. I don't know the specific IRC code or what the city of Katy requires, but you can see it's coming from the rear of the property. It's coming from a supply box that's probably in the neighbor's yard. Those two smaller ones are not electrical, and they're bringing it down the side of the home. They're bringing it it's in a conduit. It comes all the way up, and it comes up to this 90. And it comes up, and there's the supply line. You can see the green tag here where they've been inspected. It's been approved. It has not been hooked up yet, because when the power company hooks that up, then they'll set the meter can box on the home. What they're going to do is probably set a temporary meter on the outside here to supply service to the house while it's under construction. You can also see the external ground rod that I mentioned in another portion of the video. And again, you can see what an acorn style clamp looks like, and you can see that rod has been driven well into the ground, and then this is tying it inside to the grounding rod that is installed in the slab that also is affixed with an acorn style clamp, and all of that goes to the panel that's on the other side of this wall, and you'll see how that will carry through.